One of the biggest claims is that he thought of the band name Nirvana and even wrote most of the songs on Nevermind, their album. He also said, shockingly, that he wrote Smells Like Teen Spirit because if he didn't make something, they were actually going to torture him.
He said the chorus is about himself, as in here we are now, entertain us, with the lights out, it's less dangerous. Meaning the Illuminati is listening to him, and as long as he knew the lights were off, he knew he wouldn't get beaten if he kept singing.
He said a lot of the song doesn't make a whole lot of sense because he was just saying the first words that popped in his head because he knew if he stopped, he would get beaten. But the part where Kurt sings, "I am worst at what I do best, and for this gift I feel blessed." On DonaldMarshallRevolution.com, it says this about these lines. Quote, Marshall claims that even on the nights he struggled to create new music for the privileged elite, he realized that if it weren't for his ability to create hit songs that generated many millions, he would have been used, abused, and discarded long ago. For that reason, he says, music saved my life, unquote.
This is also why Marshall believes he is still alive and hasn't been killed, because the Illuminati needs him. The interesting thing is that Kurt Cobain would never talk about the meaning behind his songs and even refused to play Smells Like Teen Spirit at concerts towards the end.
Now, Donald said that some bands do try to support him. The band Queensryche's Silence Lucidity was written by him, and in the recording, he called out, "Help me," and then gave the band his recording. Donald said he was surprised when they left it in, and at 3 minutes and 53 seconds, you can hear Donald say, "Help me."
Donald said he also wrote Radiohead's Creep and David Bowie's Let's Dance. For Creep, Donald said he wrote it for Queen Elizabeth and how the public sees her. But then, for the chorus, he unleashes his true feelings about how he feels about her and himself and how he doesn't belong there.
Radiohead also refused to play Creep at live shows, and in one interview with David Bowie, he said his least favorite song was Let's Dance. Now, is this all because these were the most popular songs that gave them mainstream status, knowing they didn't write them?
Or just the fact that they didn't want to be known as a one-hit wonder? Since again, we don't know for sure, we are only presenting what we are finding. Another song that he claimed to write, trying to get the truth out, is the Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams.
Again, this is not us saying this, it's what Donald is claiming. This is what he had to say about what the lyrics were actually about. Dark and powerful, the song captures the restlessness of those searching for an outlet for their forbidden desires, whether they want to hurt others or be hurt by others, unquote.
He also states that the lyrics of the song about some of them wanting to abuse you, some of them wanting to be abused, is describing, quote, how every act of perversity imaginable can be found at cloning centers in deep underground military bases worldwide, where everybody is looking for something, and there they usually find it.
Another song is REM's Losing My Religion, if you can believe that. He said that the whole thing is about trying to expose the truth. He says the chorus with "That's me in the corner, that's me in the spotlight" is about himself after his clone was tortured and beaten.
He says the rest is him trying to expose what is going on without saying too much and how it is the hint of the century. Again, we can't back this up, but all of this is super interesting, to say the least, especially when you really analyze the lyrics through the viewpoint of this situation. I mean, this song all of a sudden started to make sense to me.
Oh yeah, but going back to Nirvana, they're all small details that he gives that made us really wonder if all of this is true. He said,
from our research, it seems that they first came out after Hitler rose to power because his thoughts aligned with their own and they knew he would do great evil. We have talked about this a lot on previous episodes.
Did you guys know that the LA Times actually had an article on their front page on January 29th, 1934 titled, "Lizard People's Catacomb City Hunted, Engineer Sinks Shaft Under Fort Moore Hill to Find Maze of Tunnels and Priceless Treasures of Legendary Inhabitants"? Yes, in the 1930s, headlines were long and a little bit more wordy.
Can you imagine
and
that headline now?
Extremely direct.
Yeah, extremely direct. That's why I was like, this is on the front page of LA Times.
Yeah.
In it, G. Warden Schufelt, a geophysicist mining engineer, found massive catacomb tunnels underground LA which go right along in ancient Hopi writings. These Hopi writings say that their snake brothers lived underground in these massive cities.
Schufelt even had a map of the city which he noted looked very much like a lizard. He said when a great catastrophe happened about 5,000 years ago, the lizard people dug these massive tunnel systems to hide from the disaster.
He also claimed that they had on record carved golden tablets that tell the history of the human race. Unfortunately, there isn't much else that came out, and now if you look it up, the media just says that the guy was nuts. But LA is known to have these underground cities or catacombs. But can you imagine LA Times printing that article today?
Right. Yeah, I can imagine it would say something like, crazy right-wing conspiracy theorists resurrect 100-year-old debunked article to prove bizarre debunked allegations.
It'd probably say exactly that.
It really would.
Yeah.
But getting back to Donald, he says there are different types of Dracos or Vril, just like a lot of insiders say today. But one of the most disturbing things is something he calls droning. This is a quote taken from the website donaldmarshallrevolution.com. Quote, Vril lizards have a natural proboscis at the top of their head from which they eject a type of thick cerebrospinal fluid. When this fluid enters the human, usually through the eye, and from there to the brain, a chemical transformation immediately begins to take place. The victim essentially dies, leaving the lizard parasite in complete control of all brain function. After a period of recovery, the Vril host can return to its regular activities, looking, acting, and seeming completely normal. I'd like to add, but still looking like a psycho, kind of like Dali. Oh wait, there's an alleged photo of him with one. Cue it.
Marshall even claims that the Illuminati are expected to offer one of their children to be replaced by a Vril host. He also expresses that they are obsessed with humans and admire our bodies and even our intelligence, which we also know they are suppressing because they actually fear us. They fear us reaching our potential with our minds. Also, I mean, there are 7 billion people in the world. Imagine what would happen if we actually got along.
And that offering of a child you mentioned aligns exactly with a lot of Fritz Springmeier's research with Illuminati insiders. And yeah, imagine what we would be capable of if we used full 100% of our minds. I mean, literally, we could achieve anything. The Dracos don't have human emotions and enjoy feeding on us and enslaving the human race.
The saddest part about all of this, I mean, if this is all true, is our fellow human beings who have sold out the rest of the world for their sadistic power, greed, lust on empty promises from the Dracos, and they are the chosen elites and we are just cattle.
We all know these Dracos hate compassion and kindness, so the more we fill ourselves with this, the more they'll be going down.
And when we say going down, I mean literally going down to hell where they belong. They have messed with the laws of the universe and the karmic ties with the human race, and they don't even realize that they too are being used by dark minions doing dirty work of higher evil beings. So all in all, why should we believe Donald Marshall's claims? Well, it's complicated. Why?
Because at first, when we read Donald Marshall's website, seeing that he wrote all these famous songs and was exposing how all that got done in Hollywood and then all the cloning, it was admittedly a little much, even for us. I mean, what a story.
Right, but as we kept reading his description of song after song, along with his description of people and even the details of their lives, and even how the deaths coincided with a lot of things he said, including the Dracos, something became clear.
He'd either have to be a mad genius who's gone in and researched all this, or he's telling the truth. And it only got more apparent that he was telling the truth after we started watching video after video of him. He really doesn't appear to be doing this for fame, but to expose something dark.
But don't just listen to us. Go ahead and research this and see what you all think.
And honestly, there's so much more on all of this, so much more, that we're even a bit worried about putting it all on YouTube.
So we are going to end this episode now on YouTube, but continue on with the really insane stuff on our own edgeofwonder.tv platform for our subscribers.
Yeah, YouTube, you can't handle this? Well then, edgeofwonder.tv will host the content. We thought we would add this just for you guys because honestly, we could write pages and pages on this subject since there's so much more out there. So for you guys, we'll see you out
on the edge of .tv.
Yeah, good one.
But Kid Blue did...
Boo.
Sorry. All right, in it, G. Warren Scherfeldt, I think that's his name, G. Warren Scherfeldt is a geophysicist...
Schufelt.
Schufelt, okay.
Because it's not Chinese. So.
Yeah, Schufelt. Yeah, sorry. Schufelt,